Hi everybody, I'm Mike. This is Budget Guns and Gear Reviews. Today we're going to take a look at the WOOX Rock 62. Stick around. Maybe we'll learn something together. The WOOX Rock 62 is a fixed blade Bushcraft style blade made from Sleipner stainless steel. It is a tool steel with superior edge retention and abrasion resistance. This particular one has micarta handles. Any of them that you get will have removable scales, so you can put walnut, micarta, whatever you want on them. This particular set is textured, though you can get them smooth. It's a full tang blade, nice hefty construction. It actually feels good in the hand. I was a little bit concerned at first because the spine is a little bit proud of the scales on both the top, the back of it, and the bottom of it on the grip, but you really don't notice that so far. I'll do a little bit of chopping with it, and I'll know for sure whether that's going to be a problem. It has jimping along the spine and a false edge near the front. It has a lanyard hole on the end. I'm a little bit concerned. I tend to like a little bit more drop in the heel of a knife, and I tend to like it to be a little more rounded so that when I'm chopping, it's not going to create a hot spot in my hand. Again, we'll do some chopping and see how that turns out. But first off, let's do a little bit of batoning with it, because I'm going to use a baton to make a mallet. I already sawed a little bit around this to kind of make the shoulders of it, and yeah, let's go ahead and baton this down to size, and then we'll do a little bit of shaping with the knife. In full disclosure, WOOX sent me this blade to review, and I did some consulting work with them on a different project, but I felt that I should let you guys know. I am going to be unbiased and honestly, actually brutally honest with this, because A, that's what you guys want. You guys want to know if it sucks, and that's that. B, that's what the guy that owns WOOX, Danilo Manelli, that's what he wants too. He wants me to be brutally honest. Wants me to tell him if it sucks, and why, so they can work on the next model and change it. So far it seems to handle batoning well. It is has a really high grind, almost like a saber grind. It's not a full flat. I wish it was. It does have a secondary bevel. I wish it didn't. I'm not really a fan of secondary bevels. I just like one straight bevel right on down to the edge. But that's me. I know a lot of people are like that too, but not everyone. Some people like to have a secondary bevel. I do not. And I think this may not have been the best piece of wood to choose to make a maul from, because it has this knot up here that might end up being a complete pain in the arse. If you enjoy content like this, do me a favor. Hit the thumbs up button and hit the subscribe button. And when you do, make sure you ring the notification bell so that they let you know whenever I put new content out. Those two things, that like and that subscribe, really help YouTube know that this is content worth watching, and maybe they might want to suggest it to other people. So thanks a lot. Now let's get on back to the video. Broke my baton. I guess I'll get this other maul here that my brother made a while ago and use it instead. Yeah, I think this is just going to straight up break off. It's getting a crack down here, dang it, at the shoulder because of this knot. So I guess once this seasons, it'll be firewood, right? Let's try this again. I'm going to be using my brother's maul as a maul to make my maul. Make sense? So far, this Rock 62 holds up well to batoning, but I kind of expected it to. I mean, this Sleipner is a tool steel, so you know, I would expect it to do this job easy. I like that it has a fine edge and not a serrated edge. I, number one, hate serrated edge knives, unless you're cutting rope, and number two, fine edge is just better for this kind of stuff. Has this jimping here on the spine. I'm not a fan of jimping. When I put my thumb there, jimping tends to make hot spots, and I personally don't like it. Other people love it, but to me, it is not a plus. It occurred to me that it'd be easier to just baton these corners off, so that's what I'm going to do. Got to work smarter, not harder, right? Well, if you're capable of working smarter, and some would debate whether or not I am. I do like the finger choil on the grip, because that, in the integral guard, that gives you a lot of peace of mind that you're not going to run your hand up on the blade if you got to go stabity on something. Let's see if I can chop this a little bit, chop this down a bit. Because if I were using an axe to do something like this, I would hew it. And, well, let's see if I can do that with a knife. Yeah, I know there are people out there going, ah! You don't chop with a knife. Well, why not? You should be able to. So, we're going to try this Rock 62 with a Ferro rod. Just as a basis of comparison, and to show that I actually can strike a spark from a Ferro rod. I'm going to do it first with my Mora knife companion. Now I have taken a file and slightly dressed the spine of this so that it has a sharp 90-degree angle. I'm going to use an unused part of my Ferro rod. I can get a good bunch of heavy sparks with a Ferro rod and a knife with a 90-degree spine. Let's try this. I mean, you get a spark, I guess. Kinda. So you can get a spark, I guess. But if you're trying to light a fire with a Ferro rod, what would you rather have? That? Or that? I think that WOOX would be well served to take this one back to the drawing board as far as, and I know they're working on the next generation of their knife, so I would hope that they would put a very sharp 90-degree spine on that so you can strike a Ferro rod, because this is very slightly radiused, and that's enough to keep it from getting good sparks. It comes in a wonderful box, outstanding packaging, very slick, very professional, very good looking. Okay, so we've completed our mallet. Let's go ahead and use the Rock 62 to baton through some wood, and then the pieces that we split off make some feather sticks. So this piece I'm going to baton through is actually a little bit big for this knife, but you solve that by taking it in stages, right? Just going to leave the very tip sticking out, and I will be batoning on that tip. So far, I'm not breaking the tip off the knife. Alright, let's go ahead and turn this into a feather stick. Seems like you can make some really nice fine curls with this. Even after all the chopping and batoning and whatnot, it still held its edge good enough to do that, to make some decent curls. So I'd say that qualifies as pretty darn good. Those of you that saw my CRKT seismic video saw me drive that thing into a log. Let's see if I can do that with this. Yep, it goes in pretty good. Let's beat on it and get it out. It's like I did with the seismic. Of course, it's more impressive with the seismic, being that the seismic is a folder, but hey. Alright, let's do a tip test. I'm loath to do this to any knife, but what the hell. Granted, this wood's a little bit soft, but I think you get the point. No pun intended. No bendy, no breaky. So as far as the sheath goes, it's good quality leather, Italian leather. Sheath is made in Italy, comes with an Arkansas stone, which is a nice bonus. It does not have a belt loop though. It does not have a loop for a dangler. All it comes with are these two leather thongs, and that's not a good system for retaining your knife, for carrying your knife. I haven't been able to carry it this weekend because of that. It would be great if they have their sheath maker include a belt loop and include a dangler loop. One other thing is, here, let me close the retention strap. See what I just did? I just inserted the knife with the retention strap closed. And you can draw it with the retention strap closed. A retention strap that doesn't retain this is just, well, decorative. They need to make this a little bit tighter to make sure it retains the knife. So I emailed Danilo with a link to this video before I published it. And he let me know that they have already fixed the issue with the sheath as far as the dangler goes, and they've added a retention strap to the pocket for the stone. Plus, he tells me that the new batch of knives coming in the fall of 2020 will have a sharp 90-degree spine to facilitate use of a ferro rod. I think that's great that these guys were already on top of it and fixed the issue before I even pointed it out. That's awesome. Other than that, pretty good sheath. It's well made, but I think the design needs to be tweaked a little bit, which is kind of the story of the knife. It's well made, it's worth the money, but they need to tweak it just a little bit and it would be excellent. So I'm Mike, this is Budget Guns and Gear Reviews, and this was my look at the WOOX Rock 62. If you like what you saw, please like, share, subscribe. Consider becoming a patron on my Patreon account. Every little bit helps me bring content like this to you. And as always, come on back. Maybe we'll learn something together.